show you the totality of it, including the part where she says that she will support whatever Joe Biden decides, whatever he decides. That's the part that isn't used in every clip of that interview that has been used today. And another is a video that a lot of people are telling you is impossible. It's a video of something that people insist is just not possible. And that is Joe Biden today speaking for several minutes extemporaneously, no script, no teleprompter, to a crowd of supporters and speaking very cogently and clearly. I'm going to show you every word of that. That's not something we would normally do. We'd probably edit it, show you a little bit of it. I'm going to show you, I think it's about 6 or 7 minutes long. I'm going to show you the entire thing so you can judge Joe Biden's ability to do that thing that people are telling you he just absolutely cannot do. Those two videos, I think, are important for you to see in this hour tonight. The Biden stock market continued to hit an all-time high records today, as it has done repeatedly. But it hit those records today while President Biden stressed at the NATO summit today that beneficiaries of the military aid to Ukraine are, first of all, the workers in American factories producing the military equipment that is delivered to Ukraine.
You know, we will not be surpassed, we cannot be surpassed by anyone when it comes to our readiness. Here at home, Americans have seen the power of investments like these. In my administration, we've already invested $30 billion in defense manufacturing to restart or expand production across 35 of our states. We're investing billions more. The result, stronger supply chains, a stronger economy, stronger military, and a stronger nation.
In a one-on-one meeting at the White House with the new British Prime Minister, President Biden said this.
There's a lot going on. I think you're seeking closer ties in Europe is good for all of us. The Transatlantic Alliance, I think it's a great idea that we're going to be working together on. I thought we had a good meeting today, NATO.
Very good.
I thought we had a good meeting. And I think things are moving in the right direction. I feel really optimistic about where things are moving. But welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. And firstly, congratulations on a really successful summit. It's been an incredibly important moment, 75 years, a bigger NATO, a stronger NATO, and a NATO with the resolve that we need.
President Biden will hold a press conference at the end of the NATO summit tomorrow evening, currently scheduled for 5:30 p.m. Vice President Harris campaigned in Texas today at a national meeting of her college sorority.
Across our nation, we are witnessing a full-on assault on hard-fought, hard-won freedoms and rights. The freedom to vote, two years later, in the South, where the majority of Black women call home, every state except Virginia has a ban. Many with no exceptions, even for rape or incest. Now, we all know one does not have to abandon their faith or deeply held beliefs to agree. The government should not be telling her what to do with her body. If she chooses, she will talk with her priest, her pastor. But it should not be the government replacing her good judgment with its own. Faith and freedom can coexist. And understand, the former president wants to pass a national abortion ban to outlaw abortion in every single state. But we will not let him. We will not let that happen. We have worked too hard and fought too long to see our daughters grow up in a world with fewer rights than our mothers. America must trust women. America must honor individual choice. America must defend freedom. And when Congress passes a law that restores the reproductive freedoms of Roe, our President, Joe Biden, will sign it. And there is so much at stake in this moment, including last week, when the Supreme Court basically told this individual, who has been convicted of fraud, that going forward he will be immune for activity we know he is prepared to engage in if he gets back into the White House. Consider, Donald Trump has openly vowed, if reelected, he'll be a dictator on day one. That he will weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies, round up peaceful protesters and throw them out of our country, and even, and I quote, terminate the United States Constitution.
Okay, and now to the Morning Joe video of Nancy Pelosi. Here is what Nancy Pelosi actually said this morning on Morning Joe.
I want him to do whatever he decides to do. And that's the way it is. Whatever he decides, we go with. I think it's really important, and I would hope everyone would join in, to let him deal with this NATO conference. This is a very big deal. Over 30 heads of state are here. He is the host of it, and that means not just hosting, it means orchestrating the discussion and setting the agenda, and he's doing so magnificently. And I've said to everyone, let's just hold off. Whatever you're thinking, either tell somebody privately, but you don't have to put that out on the table until we see how we go this week.
I want him to do whatever he decides to do, whatever he decides we go with. Vermont's junior Senator Peter Welch did not follow Nancy Pelosi's advice about holding off, and tonight became the first senator to ask Joe Biden to end his candidacy in an op-ed piece published in the Washington Post. President Biden has scheduled an interview with NBC's Lester Holt on Monday, which will be seen on NBC Monday night at 9 p.m. Tomorrow, the leaders of the Biden-Harris campaign staff will meet with Senate Democrats for a luncheon discussion. Today, the chair of the Democratic Senate Campaign Committee, Senator Gary Peters of Michigan, whose job is to elect Democrats to the United States Senate. That's his job. He has helped the Democrats keep control of the Senate for 2 consecutive elections. And he told the Detroit News, quote, "I believe President Biden can win, and I believe that we'll be able to hold the Senate majority, and I think we also have a good shot of expanding it." Today, the Democratic leader of the House of Representatives, Hakeem Jeffries, said this.
Over the last few days, the members of the House Democratic Caucus have had conversations that are candid, constructive, and clear-eyed about the path forward, which primarily includes doing everything we can to make sure that we take back the majority in November of this year.
Do you still think Biden is the best candidate for the job?
The statements that I've made publicly have not changed.
Will you talk to the president today?
To reaffirm its commitment to re-electing President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, the leadership of the most pro-union administration in our lifetimes. That re-endorsement came after President Biden dropped by the AFL-CIO headquarters in Washington today.
Be on that side, right?
Yeah, I'm going to be on that side.
I'm going to show you what he said in just a moment. But I showed you that video of the president's entrance and shaking hands and moving around the room because everything about the president's physical and mental abilities is now under a microscope. The way he moves, the way he walks, shaking hands with those people, his motor skills on doing that. What you saw there, what I saw there, was a perfectly normal flow of movement by the president there. And when I say all of his movements are under a microscope, the microscope only seems to be turned on when people can find something negative, something to say about his movements or the slowness of his movements. Whenever he seems to be behaving completely normally, we're going to show you this because not only do people say he cannot do this, there are people saying he hasn't done it. There are people who don't know he did this